Alrighty, teddy folks. Again. We're back. Again. Because I was talking to a roommate, and he figures, since I've got some caps, I don't know if I have the right caps. That's gonna be the question, is if I have the right caps. The problem on the V-dub seems to exist always, not just when it's cold, just on a cold start. So fresh start, been sitting overnight, etc., etc. The issue appears, the feeling that I get from the data is that there's something that it appears to be a capacitor issue. The data is fine when warm and not fine when cold. When cold, you get spikes in the data. You get data, spike, data. I would suspect wire harness or ECU or something similar if it weren't for the fact that you don't see these spikes on the dash at all. There's no. I imagine if it were coming down the wire itself in the way that we're seeing it, you would see the idle would be steady and then it just kind of go up, just a little tiny tick. Because it's a galvanometer, it's a needle, so it's a galvanometer, which means it's going to do some averaging to the signal that's input to it, just because it's an inductor. So you should see something to the effect of just a little bump on the dash, and we don't see that at all. Whenever we see the blip on the computer, we don't see the blip on the dash. And I've tried looking at the engine computer on cold starts, and I don't see any engine speed blips in there either. So the only thing I can think of is capacitors on the input line that are supposed to smooth that signal out. See, my problem with that theory too is that if there were capacitance missing on the line, would that not also be visible in the other hardware? So it's I don't know. I'm gonna open. I've had the TCM out in the past, and I've had it open, and most of the problems with this particular model happen to be related to the roof drain, and it'll get clogged, and water will get into the body somehow. I don't know who the heck designed that, but if the roof drain gets clogged, the water goes into the cabin, and the TCM is stored at the lowest point of the cabin, underneath the passenger front seat, which was also a very smart idea. Never trust the Germans' electronics. And most of the time, the issue is that moisture gets on the floor, and we're gonna have to download this VOD too, because now I kind of want to make this into a video. Moisture gets down in the floor and corrodes the connector, the wire harness, the internals of the TCM, because there's no seal on the case, because it's inside the car. Why would you need a seal? There's no point. No point in engineering something that's not required, right? So I need to go. Really, Mr. Spidey? Got Mr. Spidey trying to make a home on my welder. Mr. Spidey, I don't know if you know this, but I don't need you making a home in my welder. You know? You know what I mean? So, come on, let's go outside. Mr. Spidey is now outside. Of course, he's probably going to try to find a way back in here. Time will tell. I need to go plug in this thing real quick, and then I need to pull the passenger seat out to get the TCM out. Tell you what, I've got a plug back there. I'm going to move you off the bench real quick so I can get back behind the whiteboard. The Logitech is on the whiteboard. Gonna get a little reaching around back here. Tell you what though, actually, factually, I'm not using this extension cord for anything, am I? Where's the end of it? I don't know where the end of it is. There he is. Okay, so put you guys back down on the bench. Bam. Bang. Plug that guy in. Put him over here. There we go. Camera battery charging. Alright, so I gotta pull the passenger seat out of the side of this thing. I don't have cables long enough currently to make that happen so you guys can see me and then easily get back over here to the bench. So I'm going to do that kind of off camera. I'll talk to you guys though as I'm doing it. It's not that, not really all that hard. The seat is held in by one bolt and one bracket, which is terrifying actually when you think about it. Also a Torx. I don't remember what size Torx, so we're going to grab a few. Which I have 2 sets, and I know I just grabbed a pair, like different physical objects, but pairs. So we're going to figure out which one of these it is. I think it's like a T35, T40, not 100% certain. I smell burning brakes. That's very strange. Oh. T45. And there's 2 of them, not 1. My bad. Still kind of scares me though, because I'm so used to cars having 4 bolts to hold the seat down, 1 in each corner. The only way the seat's coming free is if you rip the floor pan out of the car. But I'm also used to having the seat tracks actually attached to the seat, not the body. On this car, the seat tracks to move the seat back and forth are part of the body. Which I'm also not sure is an issue, just different than what I'm used to. Under normal circumstances, people aren't pulling their seats out and doing metal work underneath the seat, generally speaking. So like, it probably does not matter at all, one way or the other, whether it's part of the seat or part of the body. I imagine having the seat track as welded to the body gives the floor pan a teeny bit more rigidity than it would have otherwise. Because I know in the Civic, the floor pan is not very rigid. The floor pan, just kneeling on it, you'll get, you know, ½ an inch deflection, 13 millimeters, 14 millimeters deflection, just from putting my knee on the floor pan without the seat installed. I don't know if it does that with the seat installed. I have no idea. But it's an interesting effect for sure. Like, door's locked, gotta open door. Pull a little plasticky bit off. Okay. Now I gotta remember how to pull this seat out of here. I don't remember. Oh, I think there's a clip you have to remove too. Yeah, bye. Yep, there's a clip you have to remove. Big honking plastic clip. Oh. Get the bendy pliers. These bad boys. We'll clippity clap that guy right off of there. Clippity clap down the track. All right. Seat is loose. Oh no. Oh, low iron. Lightheaded from standing up. Oh. I wonder if Volkswagens are so heavy. Seat's gotta weigh 50 pounds by itself. Now comes the fun part. Pulling up these freaking plastics. Wasn't enough they stuck it under the seat. They bolted they stapled, I guess, the carpet to the plastics, which I despise. Pain, get them out. Which is part of the reason that all the interior out of the Civic. I'm going to design panels that are easy to remove. wasn't moisture down there. Now there is. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Doesn't make much sense. The last time it rained heavy, we checked this. There was no moisture. Check the body drains. The body drains are clear. That's not good. Got that out. The windows are open. We'll let this thing sit in the garage for a few days. So we've got this guy, transmission computer. And that exposure is all wrong, isn't it? Isn't it, isn't it? How about that? That looks better. Turn it off, automatic exposure. Alright, so an issue I have with this transmission computer, this particular design, is these tabs. You can see there were two here, and they've broken off. And that's kind of a problem, because you can't put the protective cover back on if you don't have the tabs to do it. It's kind of a really, really not good, again, don't trust the Germans' electronics. Don't do it. We're going to grab a little screwdriver, a pick, and we're going to try to gently open up this case. Pretty sure I can do it with a screwdriver. Oh, that's so not good. Yeah, those are going to snap. Yeah, they designed this to never be opened. Jesus Christ. Something on here smells burnt. Which is not good. I don't like Bernie. I don't like Bernie smells. Oh. Oh my jeez. They also riveted the board to the case. Never trust a German's electrical system. Jesus Christ. Who does this? Planned obsolescence. That's what does this. There's no corrosion on the pins. I am really hesitant to pull this PCB off of here. put it back on, I'd have to buy a whole new set of tools. Pretty sure those are the solenoid drivers. These guys right here. Kind of look like solenoid drivers. It's funny that there's another slot. Oh, maybe that's just the way the plastic is, because there's not another solder spot. There's no more holes. All right. So what I'm gonna do before I do anything else. Christ. I told them this would probably happen too. These freaking tabs. I did not remember that thing being riveted to the freaking case, though. That is just dumb. Grade A dumb. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say it in this stream. Do not trust the Germans' electrical system. They don't know what they're doing. They have no clue. I'll be right back. Grab me some water. Okay. I need to figure out what pin this goes to, so I can try to trace the circuit from the top, I guess. I may have just opened this thing for no reason. For a suspicion. Okay. Don't set the static book on top of the PCB, please. Which is an automotive PCB. It should be able to handle it, honestly. If not, then they designed it incorrectly, obviously. Okay, so... yeah, A45. So, what we need to figure out, then, is in the Motronic, if that's the same pin. So... go back to our diagram list here. Need 99, Motronic. Uh, 268. $268. Okay, so on J220, we need J220, 80 pin connector, pin 6. That's what we're looking for. Starting system. A220 81. A220. Oh, this whole thing is J2. Oh, they're calling this whole thing J220. Okay. I gotcha. Okay, so this is T80 pin 6. Right? So, pin 3, pin 8, pin 4, 5, we're getting closer. Need pin 6. Where is pin number 6? Hello? There's no pin 6. What color is it? Green blue. Let's go through and see if we can't find a green blue, I guess. Green blue, 67. There's 285. But this says it goes to 220. It says it goes to J220. Don't make any sense. Yeah, this is the multifunction switch. Green, blue. Oh, there it is. I skipped right over it. Okay, A45. A45. Yeah, it doesn't look like it goes anywhere else. Yeah, then it goes to the cluster. A285. Oh, this is so poorly written. Never trust a German's electrical system. I don't know how many times I can tell you, folks. Never, never, never trust a German's electrical system. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. You will regret everything about your life. Okay, so then where does it come from? The sensor. Because it has to come from the crank sensor. I need to find the crank sensor. Engine speed, G28, right there. Okay, so G28. Oh. So it looks like the engine speed sensor, the RPM sensor, goes to the ECU. The ECU then outputs the data to the dash and to the transmission controller. The heck is 142? And then they put crap in the schematic that there's a box that says 142 in it. What the heck is 142? Doesn't tell me. Never trust a German's electrical system. And never trust their ability to draw a schematic. This is easily the hardest schematic I think I've ever read. I've seen old military schematics from the 60s. Okay, so the engine RPM I was going to do a thing. I was going to replace some caps. But it doesn't look like I can do that. Easily. I could definitely do it. Doesn't look like I can do it easily. Let's make a noise. Ah, it's an Intel chip. Okay, so pin 6. 6. Yeah, there's no way. I'd have to pull it out of the case, which I'm really not keen on doing today. I wonder if there's a... I wonder if I can read the instrument panel. Let's reconnect the battery. I'm going to try to read the instrument panel. See if it's got any data for me. Let us find out. Okay. I haven't left yet. I'm just in the car. other appendages you might have. Okay. Yeah. The instrument cluster does have a readout for engine speed. So, short stream today, because I can't do anything until the thing cools off overnight. Hopefully it'll be pretty chilly tonight, because it seems to happen more often when it's cold. So with the transmission computer removed, if I look at the cluster data, because the cluster gets, the cluster and the TCM are the same wire that is fed out of the ECU. The ECU is pin 6. So, next page. "30A, what is 30A? Doesn't tell me, of course it doesn't tell me. Why would you tell me what the heck you're talking about? What kind of sense does that make? So that looks like a relay. Yeah, so that's like a start relay. Oh, I'm looking at the starter circuit. Shut up. Shut up. Pin 6. Yeah, that's just an RPM signal from the ECU to the TCU. The ECU is a pain in the butt to get out because of one frickin' screw. They couldn't have put a little clip on there, so you reach back there and pop the clip. Nope, they had to put a screw on it. And you gotta do it with a wrench, and you can only turn the wrench about a quarter turn at a time. Never trust the German's electrical system. Anybody and everybody, never trust a German's electrical system. I will be right back. I'm gonna go grab my phone. It is currently charging. Okay, I'm back. Also, my buddy went to Japan a little bit ago, and he got some candies, and he sent me a little. Well, he got treats. Like he went to 7-Eleven, just got a big bag of, like, you know, candies and cookies and what have you. Because Japan's 7-Elevens are like, they're top tier. America's 7-Eleven is the bottom end of convenience stores. In Japan, they're like, if you want to find some food, middle of the night, you go to 7-Eleven. Anyway, he sent me a box, like a little goodie box, and inside were these. They're little mint things, and they're itty bitty. They're just absolutely tiny. Get one out here. There you go. That is the size of one. You can see that up there, right? In this camera, you can see that. That's right. Oh no, you can't. It's behind the it's behind the pip. So that is the size of these little mints. Absolutely minuscule. I could probably turn autofocus back on now, can't I? So this is the size of those little pips. They're absolutely itty bitty, but they're kind of. I was about to say they're packed with flavor. They're not really packed with flavor. They're not intense, like icebreakers, right? Are intense mint, which I enjoy. I love intense mint. I actually had I had some mint essential oils, and I'd stick it in my bath salts and take a bath in mint, and it was just lovely. And you know, but these aren't that. These are. They're like cream soda mint. And I don't like cream soda. But these are freaking amazing. Like, these are probably the best mints I have ever had. I think I've tried just about every mint on the shelf. These are great. Crazy. I mean, roommate man won't be home for another like hour and a half. So, why don't I spend that time pulling the ECU out, and we'll see what it looks like, I guess. I gotta remember what size it is. I'm gonna turn the camera, so maybe you guys can get a view of me doing that. I'm not gonna get you a close-up, because again, the cameras are kind of a pain in the ass to move right now. So for right now, we're just going to do it this way. I apologize if you guys would prefer a little bit more. You know? But considering there's nobody in here right now, I don't guess it matters too much. I made an 8-mil wrench. Wrenchity wrench. Wrenchity wrench? That's it. There we go. Little 8-mil wrenchy wrench. Man, those mints are good. I feel like they're using an artificial sweetener though, because there is a distinct aftertaste that reminds me very much of sorbitol, which I can't stand. Sorbitol, erythritol, xylitol, there's one other one. I can't stand them. I can taste them in things, and maybe I don't taste it so much in the mints because either they don't use a whole lot of it, or just the mints are so tiny and the amount's so minuscule, it's harder to pick out. I don't know, I'm not sure. Well, maybe you can get to that one with the ratchety ratchet. Also, any manufacturer that sticks things other than the wiper motor under this freaking cowl in front of the windshield, shame on you. Vie and shame. People are going to be taking this stuff apart at some point. How dare you design it without those people in mind? That's what this whole right to repair movement thing's for. Is because people are getting tired of this just absolutely disposable. It's too hard to work on, so we ain't even going to worry about it. Throw it away and buy another. No! That's stupid. That's asinine. That's completely and utterly ridiculous. screwdriver to remove the clip. I actually do kind of like this tie down. This is a neat tie down. Got little clips on the ends here, and it's just a little piece of spring steel. You click it on the one end, push it down on the other, it handles vibration. And it's simple and it's cheap. This is definitely a German thing to do. And it works, and it's good. Always trust a German's machinery. Trust a German's metal. A German's metal is probably the best metal you're ever going to know. But never, ever, ever trust the German's electrical system. No, there are connectors down there. Yeah, these stupid clips. You pull a little clippy thing to the side. Hey, that's a Torx, not a stupid piece of aluminum that's bent over. Much better. The guy that designed the TCM did not design the ECM. He was much smarter. Fly thing, go away. We don't like your kind around here. We don't like your kind around here. Mm-hmm. Okay. Bam, first try. Let's turn you guys back around here. Okay, so what connector is that? Again, 220, so it's 80 pin. That's this guy. Pin 6. Pin 6 is hard to see. Okay, fourth pin over of the little guys right there. So let's open this guy up. Here's another thing. You know what? This is my face cam, so we'll turn him. Oh, scheiße. Woo! I gotta figure out what the heck button I just pushed. Almost dropped my camera on the floor. That would have been bad. Where'd you go? Okay, what button did I push? That one. That one. That one. There's effects. How do you turn the effects off? Okay, I'm gonna have to do some fiddling because somehow I turned an effect on unintentionally, and I've never used the effects because I despise filters in general. I cannot stand them. So, how do you get rid of the effect? Really? I have no idea how to turn you. Oh, stupid thing. How do you get rid of the freaking effects altogether? Or seriously? Come on. For seriously? Is that it? I think that was it. Aye. Gotta make things difficult, don't you, people? Every time you want to do something, somebody has to have made it just difficult. For no reason other than to make it difficult. They're like, oh, well, this works for me, this is easy. Yeah, guy, did you test it out on people that aren't you? You have creator's bias. You come up with the thing, so you think it's great. That is not necessarily the case. Changed the white balance, it looks like, too. Lovely. I prefer my images to be a little bit on the cooler side. I'll just continue spinning them. There he goes again. Japanese Kit Kats. Yeah, this mofo with all the snacks. Neep. I'm gonna be quite irritated if there's like corrosion inside this ECU. And this whole time, this problem was just this. So there's also a complaint. The ECU keeps complaining that the power supply pin on pin 30 is not working correctly. The voltage is too low. This is the same design of the PCB though. At least they're consistent. These caps are quality caps. They should be like okay-ish. Yep, same design technology too, or same manufacturing technology, I mean. Okay, so pin 6, which is, of course, they have a cover over the back of the connector so you can't see the pins. We have to assume some things. Let's assume some things, shall we? What? What? Don't make any sense. Stand by. 52. Supposed to be an 80 pin connector. What the shizzle dizzle? Oh, it's 50 pins. Oh. Oh. They're calling this one connector. That is J220 80 pin connector. I mean, it's a single housing, but it's 2 wire harnesses and 2 connector ends on the harness. That's 2 connectors. Oy. Whatever. Pin 6. This is kind of advanced technology for its time. Which explains why it fails so often. But looking at this technology, there's not really that much that can go wrong with it, honestly, outside of physical damage of some kind. The way they've designed this is fairly robust by design and manufacturing standards, which makes sense. It's German, right? That definitely makes sense. But this doesn't explain. Like, nothing on here gives me any indication why the signal to the transmission computer for RPM is funny. And I guess I'm gonna have to just do what I said I was gonna do before. We'll check it tomorrow morning. We'll check the cluster data, see if the engine RPM in the cluster data goes funny. Which means I'll have to hook the ECU back up, which is fine. I'm not even going to put it in the case. Just stick it in there. The connector, however, that's what interests me. This connector. So there's a connector here. It's A45, before A45, and that is T10B, pin 2. Okay, and then we come back here. So we come back here. There is another connector that goes to transmission computer. There's a connector T10 pin 2. So T10 no letter designator. Does that mean that harness is a separate harness? There's an intermediate harness between T10 and T10B? There's got to be, right? That's what having the letter designator would give you. There's a 10-pin harness, pin 2 there, pin 2 there. So there's a 10-pin harness. One end is on the ECU side. The intermediate harness has a wire that comes out of it from the wire connected to pin 2, and that goes to the cluster at J285. Then there's another connector, T10 no designator. And that goes to the transmission computer. So where is T10? Is there somewhere in this book that tells me where these connectors are? T10? T10. Wait, is that T10I? Maybe it is a designator. Oh yeah, T10I. Okay. A pillar right, 10-pin connector blue. Okay. We'll take a look at that guy real quick. 10-pin connector blue. I think I already checked it though. Unless I already checked this guy. I did, in fact, connect that, or check that connector. Because it has dielectric grease on it. Just in case there was any kind of schmutz or dirt or anything in there. Sprayed it out and put some dielectric grease in there. This other connector, T10B. T10B is where exactly? Oh. Heck. Okay, that was weird. My bookmark was on the wrong page. T10B is an engine compartment left in the ECU box, 10-pin connector black. Alright. That looks fine. Nothing in there. No debris, no dirt. Clean connection, no corrosion. I'm at a loss, man. I got nothing. Now, I will say, this car has previously had the battery installed backwards. which means there's a potential that there's a bunch of stuff damaged electrically from that event. Most ECUs tend to have reverse polarity protection, I imagine. Oh, I mean, the ECU still works, and the transmission computer still works most of the time. So they absolutely had reverse polarity protection on them. Let me figure out where pin 30 is. Of course, I put my flashlight away because I'm smarty pants. Pin 30, where are you? 26, 29, 30. Pin 30 is this guy. Can't tell if that's thermals or not. Let's try this. I don't have a whole lot of faith this magnification is any good. Those are, in fact, thermals. Okay. Okay. That's not strange at all. Without removing the connector, there's no way of figuring out where that goes. Okay, what is pin 30 then on the ECU? How about we find that out? Okay, so here's the ECU. That's just the starting system. E52 plus connection. Okay. Need pin 30. That's what it's complaining about. Pin 32. Got pin 20. That's the end of the connector. The heck? That's so weird. So poorly drawn. Like, put all the sensors on a single page and then show connectors. And then put the entire ECU connector on one page and show where those go. Like, Jesus. Who designs a schematic like this? There's no pin 30. Pin 30 is not given. Why the hell is he complaining about pin 30 if it doesn't even exist? That'll make no sense. Yeah, because pin 30, as far as I can tell, pin 30 on the board doesn't go anywhere. It goes to unpopulated parts. And there's, from what I can tell, there's no vias on that line. Pin 30 is this guy. He just comes over here to pin 2 of this unpopulated 8-pin, SOP8. And that's it. There's no vias, there's no nothing else. Oh no, it has the thermals that go to this guy. But this guy, thermals to this pad, unpopulated. And then the line comes down and goes to like pin 2. I don't know what else there is. Having schematics helps. Wonder if there's schematics. Hello? Thank you. Excessively aggressive freaking sleep. This mouse. Has anybody done the work on these things? GitHub. That's a different ECU. It's B6, this is B5. Actually, B5.5. Funnily enough. Oh. Nothing. Alright, so. Oh. Little chair sucks. So bad. Okay. So the issue is transmission computer. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna whiteboard some stuff. Let's whiteboard some stuff. Can't really move things. Yeah, that's not gonna work at all. Well, there goes that idea. Okay, so issue is transmission computer claims there are RPM spikes. Sometimes greater than whatever the max RPM programmed into the TCU is, which is, who knows, we'll call it greater than 7K. I don't know. I have seen spikes not tripping the code. 3100, 4800, 6750, 2500. I've seen various spikes on different days. Okay? The TCM is fed the RPM signal on its connector from the ECU. I thought it came directly from the crank sensor. It does not. So from the ECU, T88 pin 40. So ECM pin 40. It's fed that signal from the ECU. Helps if you, what the heck's my eraser? No. Helps if you spell things correctly. It comes from the EU. Actually, what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this. ECU pin 6. Okay, that comes out and goes to the TCU and the instrument cluster. The instrument cluster gets that signal fed in. So there's also this connector here, which is T10B on the ECU side, T10I on the TCM side. The instrument cluster comes off of A45. What connector does the instrument cluster get that data into? Go back to our thing that tells us what schematic is what. Did I go too far? I went too far. '99 model year. Okay, instrument cluster, 277 and 278. Oh, it's the next page. Nice. Didn't even look. Okay, so A45 comes into T32A, pin 11. Okay. T32A, pin 11. Now, we have not seen spikes on the dash out of the galvanometer, the needle of the speedometer, or the RPM, the tachometer, sorry. So, we have not seen spikes on the dash. That doesn't mean they're not happening, necessarily, because we have not been specifically looking for them. But I suspect that if spikes had been occurring on cold mornings this whole time, one of the three of us would probably have seen something. Huh. Must be a sunroof. Saw a funny thing on the wire harness. So, if we're not seeing it on the dash, does that mean it's not happening? Is the cluster a digital cluster? It has data, which means it must be. Right? And if it's a digital cluster, and we can get data out of it, we need to pull the cluster out, is the question. Because if we're seeing spikes, random spikes, while the data is running, I highly doubt that's anything to do with the wire harness. Because the wire harness would be either working, dead, working, something like that, not working at all. Tells me, and the ECU is not seeing these spikes. I've checked it twice, which is not a whole lot of data points, mind you. But ECU does not appear to be seeing the spikes that the TCU is seeing. Tells me it's gotta be some issue with the TCU. Or some issue somewhere that is only TCU related. Now, tomorrow, I am going to check the cluster for sure to see if we're getting spikes in the cluster. I'm going to put the ECU back in the box. We're going to check the cluster to see if he's seeing funny spikes. If he's seeing funny spikes, then it's got to be the connection between them. It's going to be the TCU, the cluster, or the wire harness that connects the things. So I guess I can't really continue without more information. So what I thought I was going to be doing in a stream was replacing capacitors on transmission computer. Turns out I am not going to be doing that because I have to break it essentially to get it apart. So we're not doing that today. I'm going to do more testing first. This is a strange problem for sure, and I'm kind of glad that I have the time right now to be able to work on it. This is like my bread and butter. Weird, hard to solve problems. This is my thing. If somebody else can't figure it out, if nobody else can figure it out, I'm your guy. You come see me. If you got a shock loose and rattling around and any Joe Schmo can get under there, oh yeah, your shock mount's broke. He can fix it. Let him. I don't care. None of my business. So long as he does it correctly. I don't care. Yeah, but for right now, I'm just gonna go, I don't know, go play some Majesty. That sounds fun. Go play some Majesty. Maybe some Satisfactory. Which if I do Satisfactory, I'll probably end up streaming it. I'm not going to do it today. I might do it Thursday or Friday. I'm going to make that video about the Civic ECU mods. And, yeah. I'll stream that. I'll stream the editing process. And maybe what I'll do is, maybe I'll make the streams private. And it'll be a supporter thing. Come hang out with me while I make the content. And then, I don't know. I really think I need to come up with a system that is supporter-only content type of thing. Something that encourages people to become supporters. Like, why should I, why should I pay you, guy, when I can watch somebody else do it better? Stuff like that. So, like, I need to come up with ideas for that, I guess. I need to move the car forward. I'm going to end the stream right here, because when I get done moving the car forward, I most likely will not be able to walk in front of it, because it is a very fat Jetta. So, we're going to end the stream. It's been a wild ride, remembering a thing that I already knew from the past. So, yeah. We'll see you folks later. Have a good night.